Years ago, I remember getting feedback from a skip level in my 20s. It said I was a supernova, but that I needed additional polish. And at the time, I didn't know what that meant. When I got promoted very quickly throughout my time in my 20s, I didn't have a lot of formal coaching, mentoring, things of that nature. These were not things that I discovered until later in my career. And looking back, what it meant was really that understanding of how to play the game. And there were two key pieces of feedback that I've gotten in my career that really helped me to understand how to best be a collaborator. Number one, that I needed to learn to build consensus. What this means is really making sure that you're hearing out all the feedback that's needed or required to make a decision. I think a lot of times as leaders, we get intel, and there's certainly an urgency stressed from whomever is delivering the intel, and there is a inclination to make a knee-jerk decision or knee-jerk reaction. So don't rush to judgment. It's key that we, keep that steady hand on the wheel during these times. And in building consensus, we're making sure that we understand the vantage point of everyone who would conceivably be affected by a decision. That's why we can't rush to judgment. That's why we also can't impose our will and our thoughts on everyone else. We can communicate our thoughts. And so it is very important to figure out, where is my place in conveying conveying to peers your vantage point. But if you, like many people, work for a company, you're paid to be an evangelist of that brand. And so say your piece if you have the room, ideally in your organization, to be able to do that. And when a decision is rendered, you get paid to execute, whether you agree implicitly or not. But that's how you can effectively build consensus rather than just being one of these talking heads. You know them. They have to be seen in every meeting, on every call. They always are putting out their opinion. I prefer to be someone who listens. If somebody wants my opinion, I'd like to earn the right to be sought out for my perspective. And fortunately, over time, I've earned that right. But I think it's important that you say your piece in the right place and you play the game in that capacity. The other key area of feedback that I got in this several years ago was win the crowd. You see, in your time, you're going to need people in the boat with you all the time. Very rarely are you going to be in a situation where being a lone wolf is the best way to go about it, whether that's your day-to-day role or even trying to get promoted, because you're not going to be promoted just because you're great at what you do. You're going to be promoted because the belief is that you will be able to influence others, that you will be able to get the best out of other people, and that you will invest the time in them in order to understand their why, help remove their barriers to success, and coach. The best way to show this is by showing this in your day-to-day, because truly we can lead from every seat. Now, when this was quoted to me, it was exactly the same as the line from Maximus in Gladiator. He says, "I will win the crowd. I will give them something they've never seen before." You see, it's not commonplace to go out and try to seek out wins for everybody you touch and work to deliver those. Those are the types of things that stand out. But that's how you win the crowd, by making sure that you're creating and nurturing and investing in all of the relationships that matter. It's not about yourself. It's not about me going out and telling everybody how great I think I am or how great my idea is. It's promoting the ideas of others. It's making sure that you're doing things to invest in those relationships, to show that they have value, to look for ways to amplify their message, to promote them, to get them promoted. Those are the things that matter most. That's the mentality that we've got to have in life and career. Absolutely stand apart. Absolutely speak from your experience. Share your best practices. But there's a right way to do the right thing. And even if a fight's worth fighting, even if a perspective is worth elevating and escalating, there's a right way to do it. And that's why it's very important to consider all of the ramifications and the relationships. Again, if you work for an organization, you're likely paid to perform. And so you take all of the material, everything that you're hearing, but you're also a mouthpiece for the people that you touch, whether it's a team that works for you, whether it's customers. It's important that you're taking that message and that you're conveying that and doing it in a respectful way. Fight for your beliefs, but be an evangelist of your brand that you're paid to be an evangelist for. Because only by taking your leadership's and your colleagues' priorities, collectively approaching those, that's how you impact change. It can't be one-sided. Everybody's got to win something. It's not imperative that you agree with everybody that you meet. That's not what it's all about. Ideally, you're going to get to say your piece, but it's also your job to execute on the edicts from above once final decisions are made. So reach out, understand the needs of the many, everybody that you touch and impact, both with the customer, colleagues, and your leadership, and understand what it looks like to get the most people to a win. Acknowledge the contributions of others, recognize people. You win the crowd by making them a part of your journey and helping everyone win. So win the crowd.